So, the low time frame elite strategy. Now, this little series, I'm pretty much going to be explaining in obviously in these few videos, breaking down every single step and every part of the process. But of course, complementary with this as well is obviously the PDF, any other backtests as well, and pretty much anything else that might be added in the future. Obviously, for now, we're just going to be going through a little introduction at least to kind of explain everything and pretty much what this is all about in a way. What to kind of expect as well, and then obviously, the different sort of approaches we've actually got to this strategy. Now, of course, with this elite one, we're mainly just going to be looking at the lower time frames. So when it comes to this, we're mainly going to be sticking to the 5 minute chart, and that's the way we're going to be going forward, looking for entries pretty much daily in a way. It's a lot. This is pretty much dedicated to a lot of you guys that can, really just want to trade on the lower time frame. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So as an introduction, obviously, within Forex, you know that there are two main strategies employed into any bit of analysis we do. We've obviously got the technicals and then we've got the fundamentals. Usually with our technicals, we're sticking to our smart money concept style. Of course, with this elite strategy, it's a bit different. We're kind of building on that and including a few other key concepts that are pretty well known. But yeah, and then when it comes to the fundamental analysis, this is a question that I know I'm going to get from quite a lot of you. Is the fundamental analysis essential for all of this? Now, just to make it clear, when it comes to the technical analysis and this elite strategy, you don't have to have knowledge of fundamentals at all to be able to implement this. However, one thing I would definitely say is understanding fundamentals and knowing about the high time frame and the fundamental direction within the market, you're always going to benefit from it. And the reason I say that is because of two main points. We're pretty much going to know, are we going to be looking for mainly buys or are we mainly going to be looking for sells? From that, we know the fundamental bias within the market for a certain pair. And then obviously, if we are in any positions, we know how long we can potentially hold onto the trade. So whereas usually what we're going to be looking at in just these sort of even in this PDF, we're pretty much going to be talking about where we usually take profits. But if we know fundamentals are, pretty much biased to go in a certain direction, we know that we can hold for longer. So that's one of the main benefits. The second one, again, is when we're looking at counter fundamental trades, counter trend trades. How long can we actually hold on to them trades? How long do we have to take before we go to break even? All these types of things are essential, especially for managing pretty much all of your entries in a way. So definitely, I wouldn't say that you need to have prior knowledge of fundamentals before we get into all of this. But obviously it's a massive help, and you'll see as I do talk sort of further on in the videos as well, you see the kind of help that it does bring. And obviously if that is something that you want to sort of look into, of course that option is right there as well, within Diamond's Capital. So the three main concepts in smart money concepts that we do look at are these three right here. So of course we've got fundamentals, which gives us our bias within the market. But the first main thing is looking at market structure. And the main thing that we talk about right here is the trend. This is the main thing that we're going to be sticking to, both the higher time frame trend, both the lower time frame trend as well. Secondly, identifying liquidity as well. This is the second key point that I always make whenever I do talk with any students or anything. These are the three main things that we always talk about. It's always market structure first. I'd always say market structure is king. Then we get into identifying liquidity. The main thing we're going to be looking at within the strategy is actually imbalances. That's something that I've tested rigorously and look to see, what is price drawn to much better in a way. Then finally, we've got entries. And for this one, of course, we have a very specific entry guide. So that's something we're definitely going to look into. And the last point I want to make for this little introduction is our expectations. Now, this strategy is built for pretty much consistency. You want to look for similar setups daily. And we're going to have a few entry types, just 3 of them. And pretty much from that, you build upon them. And obviously, you look through them in the market. But that's it. We're just looking for consistency. And in terms of risk to reward, I genuinely do say with this, you're going to be bagging between 1 to 3 and 1 to 6 daily if we see our setups arise in a way, in a good way. Of course, what it actually does mean is, for example, when you're taking profits, the amount of money that you make or the ROI on that trade obviously depends on how much take profits you do take and how you manage your trades. But generally, this is how much it's running, and that's what we're going to be looking for. And in my opinion, to be honest, getting a 1 to 5 every single day, you're going to be flying. Next, Do not enter the markets blindly without testing everything for yourselves. Personally, I've tested this strategy fully on a few pairs, for example. Again, when it comes to the elite strategy team that we've built up, they've also been rigorously testing and getting results as well. Potentially, we'll go through them as well, and obviously, within the back testing sort of stages of this part of the videos. But one thing I definitely do recommend, please, if you are going to be using this strategy, at least test a year of data for yourself. There's one thing I want to keep as a prerequisite for anyone that uses this strategy. 1 year of data at least before you get into live trading. Of course, depending on how quick you are, you can get this done relatively quickly, I'd say within a few days of really working hard. But yeah, that's the main thing. And the reason I say that is, again, you want to develop your eye for these setups, because of course we have a set routine, a set sort of strategy that we are going to implement. But of course, you still need to develop your eye and get used to what we're going to be looking for. And then finally, when trading against trend and fundamentals, it's still possible to see nice entries for sure. But we want to be as protected as possible and going to break even. So yeah, that's going to be it for this little introduction. Obviously, we've got a lot to look forward to, so we'll definitely get into that all soon. Right, guys, so I'll see you in just a bit.